So there's 3 segments in life. There is 4 segments in life. Thank you. There's 4 segments in life. This is a developing theory, so 3, 4, you're going to get the segments as they develop. The first segment of your life is before you align with God. So yeah, you know of God, or you believe in God. You don't truly have relationship with God. So in that, everything that is transpiring within your life is free will. You out here, the devil is busy, because in Job, God or Satan comes into, the space with God, with the angels, and God's like, what you been doing? And he's like, I've been rocking to and fro, just looking for people to mess with on earth. So you are subjected to whatever the devil's dealings is, as long as you are outside of the covering of God. So that is the first segment of your life. So that is going to be your fries. That's going to be your high school years. That's going to be, all those friendships. But when you started filtering down and saying, I don't need those friendships and all those different things, that's when you started evolving and changing and becoming into the space of you. Now, the second segment of your life is when you actually do come into communion with God. When you come into communion with God, you now have a hedge around you, and now you are protected. That means everything that you're experiencing within that time, it looks the same, right? Because you're living the same life. The same physical 3D world experience, but now you are in communion with God. You are in relationship with God. You know God, and so now God is leading your life instead of you leading your life. And so now, yes, you're working here, and yes, you're doing that, but now you're doing it for a purpose. And you know that you're doing it for a purpose because now you're starting to learn from it, and you're not just learning the task. Okay, that I am performing a task. No, you're learning a skill that you can transfer throughout your life, because once you are in communion with God, nothing you do does not have purpose. Every single thing has purpose. Every single conversation, every single everything. So now you're using your life to grow you and propel yourself to take you into that which your heart's desire is. So it's for you to get very solid on what God is leading you to, and you just determine what that is. That's a whole nother lesson. All right, so then the third segment is after you've been communing with God and God has been preparing you. Truth is, once you come into communion with God, God has been preparing you your whole life. So this is how you use your past in order to propel your present and your future. Instead of resenting your past, all the things that are in your past that you remember are pieces that should have been teaching you, instead of you saying, this is trauma, this is what happened to me. Why did it happen? Why do you remember it? You don't remember your entire childhood. You don't remember your entire history, but you remember this. Why? And once you're with God, you can actually make sense of it. So the first part, things are just happening to you, but nothing's really just happening to you, because at some point in your life, hopefully, this is why I'm questioning death right now, hopefully at some point you get to know God before you die. If you don't, then none of it makes sense. But once you get into that second segment, you can start making sense of your past, your present, and start shaping your future. All right. And then the third segment is once you've been trained and you were battle tested, got your armor on, God removes his hedge of protection around you. Now Satan can come after you again, and you got to be built for it tough and withstand anything. So you got to keep your mind right. You got to keep your speech right. You got to keep everything. Nothing is for nothing. And you understand it gets tough because you are under attack by Satan, but it's not that God left you, it's that God has prepared you for this moment. So that is the third segment. So that is the space that we're in right now. Now, I am intentionally in this segment. My family, because they are in it with me, are in this segment, but you're not necessarily in the breakthrough space, because the fourth segment is the breakthrough. Okay, so if we look about the story of Job, now we have, we don't know what was going on with Job prior to us entering his life. We don't know the stages, but I know my stages. So if I could parallel my life to Job's life and Job's experience, I can see where I'm at in the thing. And I know after God removed his hedge of protection around Job and allowed Satan to attack him, afterwards, God restored Job 1,000 times over. You know what I'm saying? So after Satan is allowed to do what Satan's doing in my life right now, because Satan is busy right now, the next segment, which is the fourth segment, is the breakthrough. Boom, it's about to. Now, the determining factor is when. When does that happen? But we just got to stay solid. And this is now we go back to the Bashar teachings, and we go back to all the other teachings that we have. As long as we count it all joy, as long as we keep our vibrations high, as long as we keep our mind straight, as long as we stay focused, we can collapse time and speed that time up. As long as we are learning, we are speeding that time up. If we spend any time grumbling, if we spend any time focused on our circumstances, we are prolonging versus collapsing. So that is my answer to your statement. So it all looks the same, but all of this is preparation. And I'm not sure where you're at in your journey, your personal journey with God. I do know you have been thrown into the pits of hell. You know, you've been tested, and now you recognize demons, and you understand now you don't have to give those different energies your energy, because you know that those are what they call energy vampires. You know, those are demons, and you are now in the space of exposing them. So you're not giving them attention, you're exposing them, which are two different things. And so that was my queen era. So you're in my queen era, and then we can look at all the different spaces that I've been since then. And because you're aware of all the different spaces, you can actually expertly navigate these things. Does this make sense? Okay, so this is just training, and the power of 3. You got 3 solid months here. You got 3, whatever, you know, God. But I'm focused. Yesterday, I cracked the code. I know what this is. This life ain't getting no more energy from me. I'ma just go through this motherfucker like, whenever you ready, I'm ready. And that's where you gotta be. And this ends soon as all of that lines up. Soon as the opportunities hit, and they're hitting now. I'm calling that into me. Why is that pigeon lipping though? He look like he walking on one leg. He got a bad leg. Poor pigeon. He almost looks like he's picking it up when he's not walking. He does have a bad leg. Poor pigeon. Aww. You see, these wild animals don't have anyone to help nurse them back to health. I'm sure he could get use of his foot again if somebody just, you know.
You just gotta keep walking on it.
You walk it off. Okay. He's walking it off.
Literally. Or just fly. Like, he doesn't have to use his feet. Look at this one.
This is like, what's going on, buddy? Look like you have some difficulty.
Why did it take you so long to get across?
All right.
I'll see you later.
All right, love you.
Love you too.